static prompt that you're seeing, I have specifically mentioned what is the customer account number, what is the origin and the destination of the route, and I want to calculate the total shipment value, and that would be the sum of the chargeable weight on this document, and check if the total shipment weight is between 50 and 80 kgs. And if so, it will return the status as positive, and if not, it will return the status as negative if it falls out of the threshold. So as you can see, I've run this particular prompt on my document, and I have output over here. You can see that the total shipment weight was 70. However, my threshold values say 50 and 80, which basically falls within the threshold value, and I have the status as positive. So it's great, it's working pretty well. But now let me call the same prompt, let me rewrite the same prompt, but I would be using custom data parameters instead. So for that, I'm going to be creating another prompt, and for the want of time, I've already written this prompt over here. I'm just going to be copying it and pasting it, and you will see the difference between the two prompts. All right. So as you can see, in this particular prompt, if I have to compare the two, I've replaced the customer account number with the variable. So this is the custom data parameter through which I'm passing the variable. And the same goes with the origin and the destination of the route. And I've also set the minimum and maximum thresholds as a custom data parameter along with the unit. So you can see 6 different custom data parameters that I've used in this particular prompt. So what this enables me with is that I can pass these values during runtime, depending on the customer that I'm working with, and it would be able to easily detect the values. Now, for the sake of testing this within the Prompt Studio, let me show you how this is done. So if you go into settings, you would find a custom data tab over here where you can define the different variables that you would be using in your prompts. You also include a JSON object that you would be using to test this particular prompt in the Prompt Studio. So this is basically how the JSON object would look even when you're calling this particular prompt using an API. So we have the route, the origin is given as New York, destination London. It's basically the same details that you saw in the static prompt. However, we have that given over here as a JSON object. And let me just run this prompt for you, and you will see how the prompt is able to fetch the output. All right, so we have the same output over here. The status is given as positive. We have the maximum threshold 80, minimum 50, and the total shipment weight as 70. Now let's say that this is the setup that I have for a while, and then my business decides to change the threshold values. So let's say that in my database, I update the minimum value to be 10 kgs, and I want the maximum value to be 20. So I want the shipment weight for this particular customer account number, and I want to change the threshold. So I've changed it in my database. Now let me run the particular workflow again. Now I've made no changes to either of these prompts. The previous static prompt stays the same, while the same is true with the dynamic prompt that we have with the custom data parameter. Now, when I run this particular workflow, you can see that I have updated the minimum and maximum values over here, and it automatically reflects in the prompt that uses the custom data parameter. And I have the status over here as negative because the total shipment weight falls out of 70 kgs. Whereas if I fail to update the static prompt over here, which I have not, since I've used the exact values as they are, you can see that I still get the status as positive. So this kind of hints at the kind of implications that your business might face if you fail to update the prompts in time. This is something that you can save your business from when you use dynamic features like the custom data parameter.